Hey, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Abaya Buff from the DC Church. I'm actually giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Kwakadash. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai be whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Ba'Shem in the name, call me Spirit, Kudash be holy. Alright, these are the names and the powers that I come to in order to profess the 100% truth, and Lord's will seal the elect's faith. Alright? Shenya Kabaga, well records claim now by Aith. Being a double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS in these times, whom the Heavenly Father had enlisted the 100% truth. And of course, Shalom wa Barak and Levakarim Shia Shalom. Peace and blessings be upon the elect of the nation Israel. Alright, and to the men out there that's pushing this word of sincerity and truth, I say to you, Shalom wa Barak my thumb. Peace and blessings be upon you. Now, without further ado, the title of this video, I just wanted to name it Confront, Confrontation. Alright, Confront, Confrontation. And the reason why I thought about this video is because I kind of had a testimony. I'm on my way to service right now. I'm on my way to do the work. And I had to work earlier today, which, you know, I never usually work Saturdays, but the Lord had me work today. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I learned a valuable lesson today, you know. Number one, I learned that there's a big difference between us and the men of the Lord and men of this world, okay? Men of this world are extremely feminine, extremely recessive, and extremely like spineless, no backbone, no foundation, and collectively just no integrity, all right? And I was kind of ashamed when I seen the situation unfold. And just to kind of give you the testimony, I was at work, and thankfully the Lord kept me away from the situation that happened. But one of my coworkers, basically, he communicated with somebody he shouldn't have communicated with. And our manager basically blew up on him and told him, like, yo, you know, you shouldn't have did this about the BAM. Like, I expect more out of you. And the fact that you've done this, now I gotta escalate this to so and so and so forth. You open up a whole can of worms, and now we're in a whole rut. And basically of just like rebuking him and making him, like, you know, making him kind of feel bad for the decision that he made, or for the actions that he did, right? And as my manager is texting him all this stuff, he's trying to run away from the problem, and he's not thinking clearly. He's not giving it time. He's not digesting what's being said. And he's also, what's more important is he's not being transparent on how he feels about the situation toward my manager. Now, I will say this. When situations like that present themselves to us in this world, and even in this truth, that is the optimal time for you to really convey how you feel and what is going on. Because then what's created during that time frame is a level of respect between you and that man, or you and that individual, okay? And boundaries are also need to be set, okay? Because when my manager was saying everything that he was saying toward my coworker, you know, it was coming off in an extremely rambunctious and disrespectful tone, to say the very least. And what I said to him is, I said, you know, it doesn't matter what position you're in, there's a level of respect that you're supposed to retain from, you know, one neighbor to the next. And he was just like, yeah, man, like fuck this guy. And I was just like, that's not the approach that you need to take. The approach that you need to take is allowing him to understand and conveying that the way that he is speaking to you is not the way that a manager should speak to you know, a coworker, or speak to one of his colleagues. And I thought about it spiritually. Men in this world do not know how to deal with confrontation. You know, and that's why, furthermore, you know, they let their women step all over them, bro. You know, the main scripture I thought about, you know, and I kind of just, this video is coming on the fly. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have plans to make this video. I actually had plans to do another video, but that's, nonetheless, you know, I didn't plan scriptures, and I wanted to just get this this testimony out. But the main scripture I'm thinking about is in Job, where it says, gird up thy loins. Gird up your loins like a man. And also gird up the loins of your mind. I believe that's in the book of 1 Peter's. 1st and 2nd Peter's. All right? But the fact of the matter is there comes a point in time, there's gonna come a point in time to where you're gonna have to really stand on your own 2 feet, grab your fucking nuts, and really explain to somebody how you feel about them. And, you know, it's so spiritual that it happened in such a convenient time in my life because, you know, just to be completely transparent also is that was something I dealt with. And that was, I looked at the situation and I self-reflected immediately. I said, is this how I look? Is this how I'm portraying myself when I'm not displaying what needs to be displayed, and if I'm not transparent about what needs to be said in that specific spare of the moment? Because opportunities like that come every so often, but opportunities like that are the best time to really establish a relationship between you and your neighbor. And it doesn't matter if this transpires in the world and in the truth. Well, primarily in the truth, but then also it transpires into things that pertain to that go on in the world. You know, because even myself, you know, I had a situation with a coworker, and you know, he came to me, said some certain disrespectful stuff to me, and it wasn't what he said. It was more so how he said it. And you know, I kind of just swept it under the rug. Water under the bridge, you know. But then the situation kept occurring, and that's the problem right there. Is that when you don't situate that situation right there, when you don't root up that problem, that plant keeps growing, and it keeps growing, and it keeps growing, and it gets stronger. And you know what only happens through that is the malice increases on both sides, when it could have been mitigated the first time you had the situation. And that's why I'm naming this video Confront the Confrontation. When those confrontational situations happen, whether it's in the body, whether it's between you and your family, whether it's between you and people in this world, you got to deal with it right then and there. Because the more you let those things slide, and the more you're not vocal and you're not the more you're not transparent on how you feel about certain things, the worse it's only gonna get. And this is a valuable lesson I really had to learn within myself. This is a lesson I really had to understand, and the Lord puts you in certain situations that you're gonna, the impurity in yourself is gonna be manifested. And it just so happens that in this situation, you know, I was a spectator. And I also seen, you know, how basically my coworker just didn't have the words to say, like, you know, but except for fuck this guy. I'm like, yo, deal with that shit. But then I had to self-reflect. Am I dealing with the situations that I need to deal with? And that's why I'm even making this video. And it's more, like I said, it's more of a testimony of, you know, being able to what's the word I'm looking for? Being able to spectate, you know, what you need to internally fix, you know, and also dealing with shit as it comes, dealing with those situations as they come. All right. And again, you know, after I kind of consoled him and I told him, like, you know, look, this is the situation. I think that he's wrong for how he said this, but at the same time, you got to look through it. You got to look through what he's saying out of anger because of this situation occurring, and you got to just be level-headed, you know? And I said, if anything, you should take 2 seconds to not reply, because if you reply, you're going to reply in the same manner as him. And I said, you don't want to add fire. You don't want to add coals to the fire. You want to throw water on it, all right? And he's just like, you know, they call me Jay in the world. Don't care, I say it. It's like, you know, Jay, man, you're right. And then, again, like I said, I self-reflected. And that's the most important part. Throughout every occurrence that happens in your life, it's good to ponder upon those situations and see what you can learn from it, all right? But those confrontations in the body, in spirit, with your woman, with people in this world, with your family, you gotta deal with them. You have to. And you have to stand on it manfully. Gird up your loins. Gird up the loins of your mind and deal with that shit. You gotta really deal with that shit, Hakim. Truthfully. Because after it's dealt with, it shows you the true intentions. It shows you the true colors. Let's just hypothetically say you have a situation with your woman, and you know she being unruly with her money, or she wearing certain things. You won't never say nothing to her. You'll never say nothing to her. She's never going to be able to correct herself, number one. And number two, if you say something to her and then it creates a severance between you and her, you ain't supposed to be with that fucking woman, man. All things will manifest. All things will come to light. All right? And when things come to light, we have to deal with them. That's the main thing, you know, as our job as servants of the Lord. All right. So that was really the main point that I wanted to convey in this video. And I pray that you were edified, and I pray that, you know, this piece of advice not only purifies me, but it purifies the elect, the Bakarium Shayasha Allah. That's, you know, Adawan Ratazah viewing this video. But it's a pistol. So with that, you know, I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shemi Awashah, Shemi Kokadash, Shenya Kabaga, Willa Rikaz, claim now by Aith, Shalom, Barakam, Labakarim, Shayasha Allah. Until next time, I say Shalom.